The Vulpine Empire had always been distant. With tall ears, sharp eyes, and long fluffy tails, the Vulpines were known for their beauty and their cold silence. They rarely spoke with humans. They kept to their own worlds, their own rules. Then, the war began. No one knew who fired the first shot. Some said it was the humans. Others blamed the Vulpines. But the result was clear. Ships burned in orbit, stations were destroyed, and millions screamed in the cold of space. Captain Darren Vale had never wanted to be a hero. He was just a scout pilot, one of many stationed at the edge of human territory. But when the command center was destroyed, and senior officers died in the first strike, command fell to him. Derren stood inside a shattered base on Lyria 3, breathing heavy through a cracked helmet. Smoke rose from broken walls. Bodies human and alien lay still across the rubble. A Vulpine girl stood 10 feet away, blood on her pale white fur. She was beautiful and dangerous. She didn't hold a weapon. She didn't need one. Derren lifted his hand slowly. I don't want to fight. The Vulpine girl tilted her head. Her eyes glowed faintly blue, something strange behind them. She walked forward, unafraid. You're thinking about my tail, she said. Derren froze. What? A small smirk tugged at the corner of her lips. And my hips, my fur, my scent. She sniffed the air. Your mind is loud. Darren's face turned red. Sorry. I didn't mean to. You just walked in. And she laughed quietly. Humans always say sorry when they get caught. He looked away, shame heating his face, but she just stepped closer, close enough that he could feel her breath through his cracked helmet. You're not like the others, she said softly. Most humans shoot first. I'm not like most humans. She paused. I know. The strange thing was, she believed him. He looked at her uniform. It had holes in it, burn marks. She was probably a soldier, but young, maybe his age. Her hands were covered in soot, and there was a small scratch across her cheek. He noticed she wasn't pointing out his thoughts anymore. What's your name? He asked. Rekka, she said. Second daughter of House Kiras. A noble? Darren blinked. She narrowed her eyes. And you are? Darren Vale. Just a scout pilot. Not anymore, Rekka replied. You're the last human officer on this moon. They both knew it was true. His squad was gone. Her squad too, probably. For now, it was just the two of them on this broken battlefield. You're a telepath? He asked gently. She nodded. All Vulpine nobles are. That explained the glowing eyes. So, you read everything I think? Only when I want to, she said with a smirk. Though yours are especially loud. That made him feel worse, but Rekka didn't walk away. She didn't hurt him. Instead, she turned and sat on a broken crate like it was a royal throne. I need to rest, she said. You'll watch my back. What? You trust me? She looked up. You didn't shoot me when you had the chance. He thought about that, then sat across from her. For a while, they didn't speak. The wind howled through the ruined base. Distant metal creaked, and somewhere far away, a machine groaned before crashing into the dirt. But inside this circle of silence, two enemies shared breath. Finally, she broke the quiet. There's a bigger war coming, she said. Derren looked at her. What do you mean? Rekka didn't answer right away. Her eyes were far away now, like she was hearing something he couldn't. They're not just after humans, she whispered. They want all species broken. Vulpine, human, Drax, even the Nex. Someone's pushing this war forward, someone outside the known empires. He didn't like the way she said, they. You're saying there's another force behind this? Yes, she said. And if we don't stop fighting each other, they'll destroy us all. Darren leaned forward. Then what do we do? Rekka stood again, brushing ash off her pants. We start by surviving the next night. Then we talk to your leaders. And mine, If any are still alive. You're planning to work with me? She nodded slowly. You're loud, but honest. And you didn't run. That's rare. A sudden sharp whine filled the air. Darren's head snapped up. Drones, Rekka whispered. Not ours. The air turned heavy. From the sky, dark shapes dropped like silent birds of prey. They weren't Vulpine. They weren't human. And they weren't here to talk. Rekka reached for his hand. Run. Darren didn't hesitate. He ran, heart pounding, the strange girl. Gripping his hand and deep in the back of his mind, he knew this war wasn't what it seemed. And this girl, who once read his shameful thoughts with a smirk, might be the only one who could help him survive it. Asterisk. Darren's boots slammed against broken stone as he ran through the smoke-filled ruins. Rekka moved just ahead of him, fast and light. She was wounded. He could tell her leg was stiff, but still she ran like her life depended on it. Because it did. The drones screamed overhead, scanning. They didn't fire yet. They were hunting, learning. What are those things? Darren called out, breathless. They're not from this galaxy, Rekka answered, voice tight. I saw them once years ago. My sister died because of them. He wanted to ask more, but a blast shook the earth behind them. Stone flew through the air. Something sharp hit his back, but his armor caught it. He stumbled. Rekka grabbed his hand again and pulled. This way. She shouted. They ducked into a collapsed bunker. The air inside was thick and hot. Pipes hissed steam, and broken lights flickered above. We need to hide, she said. They scanned with heat, motion, and thought. Darren froze. Wait, they can read minds too? Rekka nodded. Not like me. They don't read emotions. They detect brainwaves, like radar. If we think too loud, they'll find us. Darren shut his mouth. His heart thudded. His thoughts raced escape. Death, her touch, her eyes, but he tried to stay calm. Rekka sat cross-legged in the shadows. Quiet your mind, think of nothing, he tried. He really tried. But the more he forced himself not to think, the louder it got in his head. The heat, her voice, the war. Her sitting there, calm and fierce. The memory of her smirk when she caught. His first thoughts, Rekka's ears twitched. She opened one eye. Still loud, human. Sorry, he whispered, ashamed again. But this time she didn't tease. She crawled closer and placed her forehead against his. Focus on me, she said. Just my voice. Not my body, not your guilt. Just my voice. Darren closed his eyes. Her voice was soft, strong. And slowly, his mind quieted. Outside, the drones passed overhead. One pause. It hovered for a moment, then flew on. Only when its scream faded into the distance did Rekka move back. You did well, she said. Derren exhaled, finally. They sat in the silence for a while, catching breath, sharing warmth in the dark. Then Rekka whispered, that wasn't an accident. Those drones came straight for us. Darren frowned. You mean we were tracked? Yes, not by signal, by thought. One of us is marked. He didn't understand. Marked how? She raised her hand and tapped her temple. A psychic trace. It's like a scent trail for telepathic machines. But I've never been scanned like that. Then it's me, she said. Darren stared at her. They're hunting you? She nodded. I escaped them once. Now they want me back. What do they want with a Vulpine noble? Rekka looked away. My blood. That chilled him. They want psychic hosts, she said. They use telepaths like batteries connected, controlled. My family has strong minds. That's why they took my sister. Darren didn't know what to say. Is that why you joined the war? He asked. She shook her head. No, I joined to fight humans. That's what I was told. That your people were monsters. She looked at him again. But you're not. Darren looked down. Neither are you. They both paused. The silence between them was heavier, now not hostile, but full of unspoken things. Rekka stood. We have to move. If they tracked us once, they'll do it again. Where? There's an old Vulpine listening post 10 kilometers east. Underground, shielded. You think we'll make it? We'll try. They left the bunker. Quietly, the sky was darker now. Strange black clouds moved above them, unnatural, shifting like living things. As they walked, Darren asked, if they come again, can you stop them? Rekka didn't answer for a moment. Then she said, if they come for me again, I won't run. He stared at her. I'll make sure they never take anyone else, she added. There was something fierce in her voice now. Not just survival, revenge. As they walked into the wasteland, Darren felt a chill rise in his spine. The sky wasn't the same anymore. Something was coming, something that didn't care if you were human or Vulpine. And the only person who seemed to know how to fight it was a girl who once laughed at his shame. Now she looked like a warrior, born of fire, and he was walking beside her into a war that didn't belong to either of them. The wasteland stretched ahead like a broken dream. Burned trees stood like black claws. The sky remained dark, full of strange clouds that never moved. Every few steps, Darren and Rekka passed twisted metal from fallen ships. Some bore human flags. Others had the Vulpine crest. All of them were dead now, silent bones of a war both sides had lost. Rekka moved fast for someone limping. Her eyes stayed sharp, scanning the horizon, ears twitching at every sound. Darren tried to keep up, gripping his old rifle tight. We're getting close, she said quietly. The listening post is hidden beneath that ridge. Still active? He asked. Maybe, depends if the machines found it. As they moved down the slope, Darren felt something strange. A pressure in the air, like being watched from inside his own skull. Rekka, he said slowly. Do you feel that? She stopped walking, then turned, eyes glowing faintly again. They're trying to push in, she whispered. Into your mind. His stomach twisted. Now, they're testing you. She placed a hand on his chest. Her claws were sharp, but her touch was careful. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. I can block them for a little while. But I'll need to touch you, he nodded. Then touch me. Her eyes flicked open, surprised at how fast he said it. But she didn't tease him this time. She took his hand and closed her eyes again. Wave passed through him, a strange feeling. Like warm static. Then silence. She opened her eyes. You're safe, for now, he blinked. That felt weird. She tilted her head, smirking faintly. Your mind is simpler than I expected. Hey, you think in strong images, she said. Not much logic, just feelings, pictures, impulses. Darren frowned. That's not fair. I didn't say it was bad, she said, amused. It makes you harder to control. That surprised him. Wait, how does that make sense? Rekka's smile faded slightly. The machines hunt order. Straight lines, clean logic. But when a mind is chaotic, emotional, like yours, it's harder to lock onto. Darren stared at her. So, my messy brain is a defense? She nodded. In its own ugly way, yes, he laughed quietly. Finally, something good about being a disaster. A soft beep echoed nearby. Rekka's ears snapped up. That's the sensor tower, she whispered. We're here. They slid down a hill covered in ash and stone. Hidden behind a rock wall was a broken panel, nearly invisible. Rekka knelt and pressed her hand against it. A second later, a small piece of the earth rumbled and sank, revealing a narrow tunnel leading underground. They hurried inside. The door closed behind them, sealing them into total darkness. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then dim blue lights flickered to life. The tunnel stretched ahead like a throat. They walked slowly, their footsteps echoing. Old Vulpine tech line. The walls, crystals, glyphs, strange machines humming with barely enough power. Finally, They entered a central room round, cold, and half-lit. A console blinked softly in the middle. Rekka moved to it. Her fingers danced over the glowing symbols. "Still alive," she whispered. "Barely." Darren walked around the room, eyes scanning for danger. "This place is creepy," he said. Rekka didn't answer. He turned. Her face was frozen. "What is it?" She pointed at a small projection. A figure appeared, fuzzy and glitching, but clearly Vulpine, a young girl. Her voice crackled through the speaker. "If you're seeing this, they've already breached our outer moons. Mother's dead. I'm hiding beneath the surface alone. I don't know if anyone will ever find this, but please, don't trust the machines. They adapt, they become. They already learned to copy mine's Vulpine minds. If they capture yours, they become you." Darren swallowed hard. The message ended. "That was my sister," Rekka said quietly. He looked at her. "The one they took?" She nodded. "They didn't just use her, they copied her, her voice, her memories, her thoughts." He stepped closer. "Rekka, I'm sorry." She didn't speak for a moment, then said, "They can walk among us, pretend to be us. That's why the war started, Darren. The first attack wasn't Vulpine. It was something wearing our skin." Darren felt the floor shift under him. His legs wobbled. "How do we fight something that looks like us?" Rekka turned to him. "We don't, not alone." She took a deep breath. "We need to get this message to your people, and mine. This war is a trap. We're just the first wave." A sudden bang echoed down the tunnel. Drren grabbed his weapon. Rekka's eyes flashed. "They found us." He raised his rifle. "You said this place was shielded." "It is," she said. "Which means..." She looked straight at him, something cold in her voice. Something let them in. And just like that, the air inside. The room turned wrong, like someone else was already there. Watching, smiling. The lights in the underground room flickered. Rekka stepped back from the console, ears high, eyes glowing brighter. Darren raised his rifle, scanning the shadows. The cold air suddenly felt like it had teeth. Something was here. Not footsteps. Not breathing. Just a strange, crawling feeling in the back of Darren's skull. Like a whisper with no sound. He turned slowly. "We're not alone," Rekka whispered. "No, we're not." Then the voice came, not from one place, but from everywhere. "Welcome. Rekka of House Kira's. And human Darren Vale. You brought your thoughts here. We listened." It wasn't one voice. It was many, male and female, adult and child, familiar. And wrong. Rekka's jaw tightened. They've already copied someone. A shape began forming in the far corner of the room. First light, then form. Limbs, a face. Pale fur, sharp eyes. Darren's. Stomach turned. It was Rekka. A perfect copy of her stood just meters away, smiling. "You came back," the copy said softly. "You missed us." Rekka didn't flinch. "You're not my sister." The copy tilted her head. "No, but she helped build us." She screamed beautifully. Darren aimed his rifle. "Shut up." The copy turned her glowing eyes toward him. "You think too much about her body, human." His finger twitched on the trigger. Rekka stepped between them. "It's not real. It just wants attention. Don't feed it." The copy slowly walked forward. "We could wear her face. Make her anything you want. Loyal, loving, yours." Rekka raised her hand and the air between them lit up. A blue pulse shot forward and hit the fake full in the chest. The copy shivered, then shattered like glass. The room fell silent again. Darren exhaled. "What the hell was that?" "A memory construct," Rekka said, her voice calm but tight. "They scanned me. Built something from my emotions. A mirror. That thing knew my thoughts." She looked at him. "Because I lowered the barrier. To protect you. It got through. I'm sorry." "No thank you," he said quickly. "You saved me." She looked away, ears flicking. Then the console beeped. The message system had restarted. But something was wrong. The data was scrambled. They infected the system, Rekka said. If we don't purge it now, they'll spread beyond this room. Darren stepped forward. What do I do? Guard me, she said. If they send another copy or something worse, I'll need time to clean the core. Darren nodded and raised his rifle again. Rekka knelt at the console, fingers glowing now as she worked. Her energy shimmered with every touch. Blue sparks flew from her claws. Seconds passed. Then a sound echoed down the tunnel. Not footsteps. Clapping. Slow. Mocking. Clapping. From the shadows came a tall figure. Not Vulpine. Not human. Something else. Its body was made of shifting black metal. Its face had no mouth, only a smooth surface that twisted with moving lights. But the voice that came from it was human. You two make a good pair, it said. Fear, desire, loyalty, we've learned so much. Darren didn't lower his gun. Back off. The machine took another step. You feel brave now. But deep down, you're afraid. You want to protect her. Even die for her. Rekka stood slowly. Her eyes blazed with raw blue fire. Try us, she said. The machine laughed. We already have. Then it rushed forward. Darren fired. The blast hit the creature, burning into its chest, but it didn't fall. It lunged faster than anything he'd seen. Before he could blink, it was between them. Rekka raised both hands and unleashed a psychic shockwave. The walls shook. Crystals shattered. The machine was thrown back into the far wall, sparks flying from its limbs. Drren grabbed Rekka's arm. We have to leave. She looked at the console. I finished the purge. The data's safe, but we need to bring it to someone who will believe us. The machine twitched on the floor, reforming already. Rekka took a deep breath. I'll slow it down. You run. No, Darren said. We leave together. She hesitated, then nodded. They bolted down the hallway. Behind them, the machine stood again, watching them go, whispering with 1,000 voices. You can run. But we are already in your minds. Darren and Rekka didn't stop. They reached the end of the tunnel and slammed their hands on the verse. Emergency lift. As they rose toward the surface, Rekka leaned against him, her breath shaky. You saw it now, she said. They don't just destroy, they become. Darren nodded. And they know our faces. She looked at him. We'll have to fight smarter. Together. Always, he said. Above them, the sky was waiting, and something dark was watching. The surface greeted them with silence. Dust swirled in the weak wind. The clouds above hung like smoke, and not a single star was visible. Darren and Rekka stepped off the lift, breathing hard. The ruined world around them was no safer than the tunnel they'd escaped, but the data was safe in Rekka's wrist crystal. It held proof. The machines were copying minds, starting wars, becoming Vulpine, human, anything they needed. If this message reached the right ears, maybe the real war could begin. Not between species, but against the puppeteers hiding in the dark. We can't send the data from here, Rekka said. The satellites are dead. Then where? She pointed east. There's a hidden relay on the mountain. Old tech, pre-war. My people built it to avoid human scans. We go there. How far? She looked at him. 3 days on foot, Darren sighed. Figures. They began walking again, tired but focused. With every step, the silence grew deeper. The world didn't just feel empty, it felt watched. Darren kept glancing over his shoulder. Do you think it's following us? Rekka didn't answer at first. Then she said no, but part of it is already with us. He froze. What do you mean? She stopped walking and turned to face him. I felt something inside you when I touched your mind last time, she said. Something new, cold, not you. Darren's stomach twisted. You're saying I've been infected? Not fully, she replied. But a trace may have entered, listening, waiting. He backed away. Rekka, what if I turn into one of them? You won't, she said firmly. Because I'll burn it out first. He looked into her eyes. She meant it. A strange warmth filled his chest. She didn't say it to scare him. She said it because she would protect him, even from himself. They walked on in silence, the tension heavier now. That night, they made a small camp inside the rusted frame of a crashed Vulpine fighter. Rekka sealed the area with a psychic barrier to block scanners. Darren made a tiny fire from old wiring. He watched her as she sat cross-legged, eyes closed, tail curled around her side. I need to ask you something, he said. She opened one. That machine back there, it knew my thoughts, my feelings. About you. Rekka tilted her head. Yes, I felt them too. He swallowed. And? She stood slowly, walking to him. Her face was calm, unreadable. You want me, she said. He flushed red. That's not all it is, I know, she interrupted gently. I read your fear, your hope, your shame. He looked away, but then she stepped closer, lifted his chin, and smiled that same dangerous, teasing smile from the first day. And I didn't walk away, did I? He looked into her eyes. No, you didn't. Her tail flicked behind her. Because I'm not afraid of your thoughts. I've seen worse, much worse. She sat beside him. Their shoulders touched. The fire flickered in silence. Then, in a softer voice, she said, Where I come from, thoughts are public. Nothing is hidden. That's how we judge truth. That sounds terrifying. It is, she whispered, but also freeing. No lies, no secrets, only honesty. Darren stared into the fire. I wish I could do the same for you. Read your thoughts. Rekka gave a soft laugh. If you did, you'd be even more embarrassed. He blinked. Wait, what does that mean? She looked at him, that same sly look in her glowing eyes. You'll find out if we survive. Before he could answer, her ears twitched. She jumped to her feet. What is it? He asked. She stared at the sky. They're coming. He stood beside her. Machines. No, she said. Worse. In the distance, lights flickered. Not drones, not ships, but walking figures, many of them. Derren raised his rifle. What are those? She whispered. Copies. As they approached, he saw them, dozens of humans and Vulpines. All wrong. Movements too perfect. Eyes too empty. A mockery of life. They're building an army, Rekka said. From memories. Do they know about the relay? Yes, she said, and they'll try to reach it before we do. Darren looked at her. Then we beat them there. Her eyes flashed with fierce fire. Together, they didn't wait. They gathered their things and ran into the dark, with the fire of false faces behind them and the truth locked inside a single crystal that could change everything. The mountain was far, but they had each other, and they had no choice but to keep running toward the final truth. Or the final trap. Asterisk, the mountain looked like a knife against the sky. Darren and Rekka stood at its base, breathing hard. Their legs burned from the climb, their bodies ached. Behind them, the sky glowed faintly red fires from the army of copies, chasing them. But ahead, buried deep within the rock, was the relay. This is it, Rekka said, eyes glowing. If we get the message out, the truth will spread. Maybe, just maybe, we stop this madness. Darren gripped his rifle. Then, let's finish this. They entered a narrow path between tall black rocks. Sharp winds howled. The mountain felt alive watching them. Waiting, Rekka touched a hidden stone near the wall. A thin crack opened, revealing a dark staircase leading underground. No lights down there, she said. It was built to stay invisible. Darren pulled a glow stick from his pack and cracked it. Pale green lights spilled over their faces. They moved carefully, step by step, deeper into the mountain. The air grew colder. The stone was old, untouched for years. But the technology still hummed somewhere beneath. Rekka stopped suddenly. "What is it?" Darren asked. She closed her eyes. "They're close, too close." Darren looked back. Nothing. Yet, but his skin crawled. "They're copying faster now," she whispered. "Not just faces, not just voices," he frowned. "Then what?" She looked at him with pain in her eyes. "Feelings, memories, even love." Darren felt a chill pass through him. "They'll use it against us," she nodded. "They already are." They reached a chamber at the bottom of the stairs. A large round room with a console at the center and dozens of ancient wires running into the walls. The relay. Rekka moved quickly, placing the crystal into a socket. The console flickered to life. Ancient symbols filled the screen. "I need 5 minutes to send the data," she said. "I'll guard the entrance." Darren turned just in time to see a figure enter the doorway. His heart stopped. It was him. Same face, same armor, same scars. The copy stepped forward and smiled. "You left me behind, Darren," it said. "You thought I was gone. But I grew. Inside you. You fed me." Darren raised his weapon. "I'm not afraid of you." The copy grinned. "No, but she is." Rekka looked up, eyes wide. Behind the first copy came another. Not the broken version from the bunker. Not the glitching thing from before. This one was perfect. Her voice, her stance, her smirk, and her eyes. But they were wrong. Dead. Empty. "I am your better self," the false Rekka said. Pure, without guilt, without weakness. Rekka stepped away from the console, claws glowing. "You're nothing." The copy smiled. "You are full of fear." He sees it. You hide behind sarcasm and smirks, but deep down, you know he will leave you. Darren shouted. "That's not true." The fake Rekka turned to him. "Isn't it? Do you think she loves you, human? Or is it just curiosity, a passing interest?" The real Rekka moved fast. In one strike, she sent a psychic wave through the copy's chest. The false version flickered, stumbled, and began to break apart. But the Darren copy didn't fall. It lunged forward, slamming into the real Darren. He hit the wall hard, stars in his eyes. "You are weak," the copy whispered in his ear. "She won't choose you. You are a weapon. A tool." Darren gritted his teeth. "I know what I am." He grabbed the copy's wrist and activated the shock plate on his glove. The jolt burned through the copy's body. It screamed his own voice, twisted and exploded into smoke. Rekka crushed the last part of the other copy. Panting. Silence returned. Darren got up, wiping blood from his lip. "You okay?" Rekka nodded, breathing hard. "It's done. The message is sent." He blinked. "You're sure?" She pointed at the console. "I sent the entire log, the machine copy data. The voice of my sister, everything. It's bouncing through 10 hidden satellites. If even one survives, the message will spread to both empires." They stared at each other. Then slowly smiled. "We did it," Darren said. Rekka nodded. "We stopped the lie." A low rumble shook the ground. "What now?" Darren asked. Rekka's smile faded. "They know." Outside, the sky exploded in light. Ships. Hundreds of them. But they weren't human, and they weren't Vulpine. The mountain shuddered. Derren grabbed her arm. "Run?" She shook her head. "No more running." They looked up through the crack in the chamber ceiling. A ship hovered there, massive, dark, and ancient. Not built for travel. Built for harvesting, Rekka whispered. "This is the final phase." Darren raised his weapon. "Then let's show them what humans and Vulpines really are." She nodded, her eyes glowing like stars. And together, they stepped into the light toward the final stand. The sky opened like a wound. The alien ship hovered above the mountain, blocking out all light. Its surface writhed like it was alive, metal and flesh blended into something wrong. Not built. Not grown. Maid.Deren stood beside Rika at the mountain. Peak. Cold wind tore at their clothes. His rifle was hot in his hands. Rekka's fur bristled with energy. The relay behind them still glowed. The message was out, but the machines had come to silence it. Deep voice echoed from above, not from the ship, but from inside their minds. You ruined the cycle. The war was working. You broke the pattern. Rekka answered with fire in her voice. We broke your lie. You will not survive, the voice replied. Darren looked up. We don't have to survive. We just have to hurt you. Rekka smiled faintly. That's a very human thing too. Say, the ship released something, black pods, hundreds of them, falling toward the mountain like rain. Each one held a machine soldier, a copy, a thief of thoughts. Rekka closed her eyes and raised her arms. You said you wanted to know what? We feel, she whispered. The wind screamed. Then feel this. The mountain shook. Crystals hidden beneath the stone cracked open, glowing bright blue. Ancient Vulpine energy flowed upward, rising into Rika's hands. She wasn't just a noble. She was a weapon. The blast exploded from her chest in a shockwave. So bright it turned the sky white. The first wave of pods shattered before they hit the ground. Darren dropped to his knees, shielding his eyes. The ground around him cracked. Power poured out of Rekka, like a storm. But the ship above didn't stop. Another voice spoke. Not from the ship. From inside Rekka's mind. Hello again, sister, she gasped, fell back. No. Darren caught her. Rekka, what is it? She shook, her claws digging into the dirt. They used her. My sister, she's still inside that thing, not alive, just data, memory. They stitched her soul into the system. Darren's blood went cold. Then that ship is her prison. Rekka looked at him. We have to destroy it. He nodded. Then let's finish this. He helped her stand. She pressed a claw to his chest. They can still see your thoughts. We must act without thinking. He blinked. How do I not think? She smiled weakly. Easy, kiss me. He froze. You're joking. She leaned in, breath warm. Am I? He hesitated. She whispered. Don't think, just feel. So he did. Their lips met. A second of stillness. Then heat. Then light. The machines above paused. Confused. And that's when Rika struck. With Darren's help, she sent one final psychic charge straight into the ship. The kiss wasn't just a distraction, it was a trigger. The energy stored in the relay fired into the sky. Powered by the crystal in her bloodline, the ship screamed. Real sound this time. Fire spilled from its core. The mountain cracked beneath their feet. The sky went black. And then silence. For a long time nothing moved. The ship was gone, the relay dead. The mountain silent again. Darren woke with a cough. Covered in dust, Rekka lay beside him, barely breathing. He crawled to her side. Rekka. She opened her eyes slowly. You kissed me. He laughed, tears in his throat. I thought I wasn't supposed to think. Her smile was weak, but real. You didn't. That's why it worked. He held her hand. Is it over? She looked up at the sky. It was blue now. For the first time in days, the sun broke through. Yes, she whispered. The message spread. The machine is gone. And I think my sister is free. He didn't speak. He just held her closer. Later, rescue ships came. Human and Vulpine both answering the same signal. Enemies no more. The message had done what bullets couldn't. It brought truth. Rekka was taken to heal. Darren stayed by her side. And when she woke again, in a clean bed, surrounded by flowers from both worlds, he leaned close and whispered, So, what were your thoughts about me, Vulpine girl? She smirked, worse than yours, human, and for once. He didn't apologize.